I wanted to tell you a great story about Abraham Lincoln and his brother because something's never changed. And one of those is the importance of a strong work ethic. And this was a tough love lesson from Abraham Lincoln that we can all learn from, even in today's work environment. Because with all the new technology and ways of working, it's easy to get sidetracked or become unfocused on the task at hand. But there's one thing that always matters, it's putting in the hard work to get the job done, no matter what field you're in or what your goals are. Remember that a strong work ethic is always essential for success. So on January 2nd, 1851, this was a decade before his presidency, before Abraham Lincoln's presidency, 42-year-old Lincoln, he scolds his stepbrother 1 year his junior. And it goes like this. Dear Johnston, your request for $8, I do not think is best to comply with now. At various times when I have helped you a little, you have said to me, well, we can get along very well now, but in a very short time, I find you in the same difficulty again. Now, this can only happen by some defect in your conduct. What that defect is, I think I know. You're not lazy, and still you are an idler. I doubt whether, since I saw you, you have done a good whole day's work in any one day. You do not very much dislike to work, and still you do not work much, merely because it does not seem to you that you can get much for it. This habit of uselessly wasting time is the whole difficulty, and it is vastly important to you, and still more so to your children, that you should break this habit. It is more important to them because they have longer to live and can quit and keep out of an idle habit before they are in it easier than they can get out after they are in. Now, you say you would almost give your place in heaven for $70 or $80. Then you value your place in heaven very cheaply. For I am sure you can, with the offer I make you, get the $70 or $80 for 4 or 5 months' work. Now, you say if I furnish you the money, you will deed me the land, and if you don't pay the money back, you will deliver possession. Nonsense. If you can't now live with the land, how will you then live without it? You have always been kind to me, and I do not now mean to be unkind to you. On the contrary, if you will but follow my advice, you will find it worth more than 8 times $80 to you. Affectionately, your brother. So, and he signed it as Abraham Lincoln. So really, boredom, my friends, boredom is a sign of a lack of work ethic. Now, while boredom may have its admirers, it can sometimes be a sign of lack of work ethic, especially for those who find themselves yearning for something to do, or yearning to do something more. After all, mindlessly, scrolling through your phones doesn't quite fall within the definition of productive activities. And at best, we can revel in the temptations of procrastinating, but at worst, merely putting off the duties until it's too late. However, for those who strive to better themselves and their lives, becoming bored is revitalizing. So don't knock the power of nothingness. Abraham Lincoln was one of the most hardworking and successful presidents in our history. Abraham Lincoln was no stranger to hard work. After all, he was one of the most successful of all of our presidents in history. And that didn't just happen by chance. A man who knew that success merits ambition and effort. And of course, this iconic 16th president also understood the importance of taking a break every once in a while, valuing his capacity for boredom as a way to ensure sanity and to cultivate creativity. Now, we can all take a page from Abraham Lincoln's book and prioritize our own pressure valve moments without sacrificing our ambitions. So his success was due in part to his willingness to put in the extra hours and learn from his mistakes. Now, his success wasn't achieved overnight, and neither were yours. His willingness to put in extra hours and embrace the lessons of his mistakes played an integral role along the way. It was this monastic, this monk-like ability for creative boredom, not just resilience. That was the key to his ultimate triumph. Some of our most innovative minds have proven there's nothing more empowering than learning from your blunders and channeling that boredom into something special. And that, I think, is the key. If you're bored at work and you may say to yourself, my gosh, Harry, I work in a busy ER, as I do. It's time to really kind of take a page out of Lincoln's book and start putting in the effort. Because who would have thought rather that Abraham Lincoln was onto something about boredom at work? And Harry, how can you possibly say that there's boredom at work? But there is, especially if you don't want to be there. If you're feeling a little unfocused or demotivated and lethargic in your current workflow, it might just be a sign that you need to take the initiative and embrace some creative effort. After all, being bored can open up pathways to innovative thinking, something which has been produced by some of the most highly successful people, and it gives you some highly successful results as well. So why risk wasting this integral capacity that you have? Let's take a page out of one of our history's most renowned figures and start putting in that effort. You'll be surprised at how much more engaged and productive you become when you have a great work ethic. Now, if you're struggling to keep your feet on the pedals of productivity, well, if that's the case, we'll take a step back and recognize that, how embracing your boredom can perk up your working spirit. Believe it or not, a good work ethic can become fortuitous with a little touch of apathy. So yeah, a good bout of boredom can actually foster creativity, but it's spurring peak levels of efficiency in no time. So why not give it a go? After all, there's nothing to lose and only more engagement, more community up for grabs for all of us. Now, friends, Abraham Lincoln, as I said, one of our most iconic presidents in the history of the United States, and his success was due in part to his willingness to put in extra effort and to learn from his mistakes. And if you're bored at work, it's really time to take a look at what Lincoln and his ethics, his work ethics, and start putting in the effort. You'll be surprised at how much more engaged and productive you're going to become when you have this phenomenal work ethic that he espouses. But if you need a little bit more help, or you need a little bit more guidance on this journey of ours, then reach out to me and see if high performance coaching is for you. Really schedule your free 1-hour coaching session with me. I'm a certified high performance coach, and we'll get started to see how we can help navigate these sometimes uncertain waters. The link is just below this video somewhere, or if you're listening on the drive to work, it's in the show notes. Reach out to me and let's get started together. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you for another morning rounds before your morning rounds. Have a great day. Bye-bye.